Well, today I'm with my friend Weimo Liu, CEO and co-founder of Puppygraph. And Puppygraph allows you to query your relational data as a graph in real time, therefore eliminating the need for ETL. And Waymo, I wanted to congratulate you on your recent funding. That's super excited. So let's first get into the problem with ETL. Why is that a problem?
Yeah, since before I joined Google, I was at a graph database company, and I met a lot of users. They have a strong interest in graph, but they don't want to duplicate the data and increase the complexity of their current system. And they already have very big data size in current storage, like data lake or data warehouse, and they just want to bring graph capability, and it's very hard for them to duplicate the terabytes or even petabytes data in another data stack. And then I joined Google, I learned something new. I think, oh, that's tech company, how tech company works. And then we kind of merged my ideas of my two previous job and come up and build the Puppygraph. Yeah.
I think some of the problems with ETL you mentioned are uh, duplication of data, duplication of costs. Now, I did hear you say something earlier about your solution can work in production.
Oh, since most of the user already have a ground truth of data, and if they want to add additional pipeline, it need to maintain the pipeline, and there is a maintenance cost, and then the product in once we want to put all this in production, it increases the maintenance cost a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, but here we're trying to simplify the problem, like one copy of data, and for of course it's still serving their existing product, and at the same time they want to bring something new based on graph. They can base on the same copy of data, so only one ground truth of data need to be maintained, and it will take the maintenance cost of their production environment much easier.
So, why are most companies wanting to use graph databases these days?
Since there are certain problems, it's very easy to implement in graph way, but very hard in traditional way like SQL or do some programming or in-house system by themselves. For example, cybersecurity, anti-fraud, and supply chain, and also retail some recommendation system for retailers, and also with the AI solution and for large language model, users sometimes want to have some knowledge to feed into the AI to answer some data-oriented question.
Mm.
In this case, they need a graph. But the onboarding process of a graph database, it takes long since, as I mentioned, the ETL, the duplication of data, and also scalability of the system. And so that's why we can have almost a zero onboard cost to modeling the user existing data as a graph and let the user query it without duplicate data. This is our advantage. At the
Mhm.
same time, it solves the scalability problem. And because the data lake and data warehouse is already very good at scalability, even no data size limitation, and our engine is also distributed and scalable. So this make user, especially for the big enterprise with big data, we can help them to onboard the graph capability much easier.
Now, on your website, I think it said it only takes 10 minutes to deploy and query, 90% reduction in overall total cost of ownership, and less than 1 second six-hop graph query in production for data volume of 5 to 10 petabytes. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Since some of our customer at beginning they told us it's too good to be true. But usually we will let them try on their own data, and we also provide if there are so many tables and the graph is hard to create it, we have an auto tool, and at the same time we just provide a free service to create a graph schema for them. Usually after they try the query on their own data, it's beyond their expectation.
Hmm. Hmm. So I think I saw on your website like the old way versus the new way. The old way was ETL for everything. The new way is query Puppygraph, which is connected to all the different data sources, and it works amazingly fast, quick, easy. And then there's this also benefit that you mentioned of graph databases can be hard to learn and it takes a learning curve to get up to speed. And one of the benefits of using your service is companies can get the benefit of a graph database without having to invest in the database and have the learning curve. So, how would you explain that?
Yeah, since for most of graph database, once your data loading in, you can no longer use SQL or some existing tool you are using.
Hmm.
Is a kind of a separate system from your existing one. But for us, because we kind of plug into your existing data stack, and you can still use most of your existing pipeline or tools. Like if you are using SQL Data Warehouse or SQL Query Engine, you can
Hmm.
still read most of use case in SQL. Only on some small part of uh, your new features, you want to use graph, and you can only learn the syntax and grammar of this part of graph. In
Hmm.
most other case, you can still use SQL, and the SQL's output can be our input, and our output can be tables again, like a nodes table, edge tables, and then can leverage by SQL. So it's very easy to do a pipeline like a Lego, and user can just put a different component and different tool together. You don't need to have another data stack than your current one.
So super easy to use, huh? How are you helping companies along on their AI journey?
Yeah, since well, some of our customer tell us that we speed up their AI journey a lot. Since
Mhm.
there are some certain block, and if they just build some AI product uh, without the data-oriented question, and then it's not a blocker for them. But when they want to integrate their existing data to their AI product, there is a big gap. One is that there are so many tables, it's very hard to organize them. And what we are doing is that we help them to have a graph schema. So all the data are connected now, and they know the relation between different tables and
Hmm.
how the data can traverse between tables. And then when people talk with their data, it's no longer talk with tables, but it talk with a graph. So they can have the AI can not only the our users, but also the AI, the LLM can have an understanding of the whole picture of what data have. And also the prompt engineer is much easier to do, like because we bring the semantic to their data. And in this case, they can onboard the knowledge graph things in a very short time because the data
Hmm.
is already there. They just modeling it and provide the new API to their AI. And also our query performance is pretty good. So uh, there won't be big latency when they using their design and use their new AI product.
Hmm.
So they can more focus on the AI side and just leverage us to take on the trivial works of the data side.
Nice. I saw this on your website. Our graph RAG transforms how your LLMs understand and utilize the interconnectedness of data, not just retrieving it. Puppygraph equips your LLMs to get smarter, context-rich answers instantly.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice, very nice. So, who is an ideal prospect for you?
Certain if you have data and the data is big and complicated, then usually we are a good fit, like cybersecurity, fintech, and banks, and for insurance company, and also the supply chain and healthcare industry, and a lot of them customer reaching out to us and
Hmm.
let us help them to do something. And also we have some AI chemistry startup, some Series B or Series C1, and also the AI biology company.
Hmm.
And we see a lot of company. And so the main contribution of us is that we provide the graph modeling. So if their data is complicated and big, usually we can help them a lot.
Well, it seems like a super unique and powerful solution. So I'm looking forward to seeing the growth and excitement of the company and seeing how it takes off.
Cool, cool. Thank you so much.